sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm going to try to make sense out of the senseless. We're going to start off. There's some breaking news coming out, and information is changing moment by moment. I'll report what's coming out when it comes out, and again, it is a fluid situation, and information can change over time. But as of right now, my phone is ringing. Let's see who this is. Hold on. Sorry about that. I thought it was my neighbor, and she's elderly, and I thought there was something wrong. That's why I took that phone call. I wasn't sure if it was her or not. The number looked familiar, but I just wanted to take it. I'm sorry about that. A little bit of silence. What is going on is this morning, Congressman Steve Scalise of Louisiana has been shot. I think it's 2 other people have been wounded also. The gunman is in custody. Multiple shots fired. What they're saying is, thank God that there was first responders on scene that were guarding Congressman Scalise. And were able to return fire and subdue the suspect. Now, the big news that's coming out, I think it's, just trying to look this up. I watched the actual interview, and it's, I think, Jeff Flake, Congressman Jeff Flake. That said that someone walked in. Someone walked up to him and asked if it was Republican or Democrats on the baseball field. By the way, this happened at a baseball field. They were practicing. There is a charity baseball game that Congress plays to raise money for, well, charities. And they were practicing, the Republicans were, when this gentleman, when somebody walked up to 2 congressmen and asked if it was Republicans or Democrats on the field, and then shortly after that proceeded to open fire on the baseball field. Now, of course, you have liberals that are freaking out, trying to cover it up. But this is the rhetoric that mainstream media, the quote-unquote resistance, liberals, Black Lives Matter, multiple Democrats, liberal Hollywood has pushed upon us. The rhetoric and dehumanization of Republicans and the violence. Now, this does not shock me, the shooting. No, not because of guns, but because this is what the Democrats have been ramping up to. this liberal fanatic base has been ramping up to. Going through it. It is appalling. I know a lot are, well, we shouldn't talk about that. That's not the time. Yeah, it is the time. I'm getting tired of the excuses. This happened in a gun-free area, so screw your gun control talk. You had a crazed lunatic opening fire in an area where people weren't supposed to have guns. So don't give me your gun control bullshit. If it wasn't that Congressman Scalise is the House Majority Whip, he wouldn't have had security with him. The only reason why there was security there to return fire immediately. The rhetoric that has been coming from the left repeatedly. There's even people on Twitter right now, liberals, right now, that are almost praising what this guy did. There's one liberal, quote, I hope Steve Scalise walks with a limp for the rest of his life as a reminder of how he failed his constituents and himself. That was from a Kelly Lee Williams on Twitter. That is just one of several that I've found in the short time since the shooting. Right now, you got the Republicans trying to squash a lot of stuff because they're rightfully afraid that this could be the spark. Conservatives have been backed into a corner by liberals. We have been physically assaulted. And now, I'm sorry, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I'm getting 4 out of it. If you have someone walk on scene and ask a congressman, is that Republicans or Democrat on the field, and shortly after gunfire opens up, it's... Now, I am not promoting anybody going out and doing anything. What I'm promoting is watch yourself, watch your surroundings. Don't become a victim. And I know other commentators, I'm pretty sure they get it, where us conservative talk shows, I guess you could put it, myself and others, I don't want to speak for them, we get threats all the time, at least I do, from liberal base. So it does not shock me this happened today. Well, not that it happened today, but that it happened. You have Kathy Griffin going out there and putting pictures up of beheading the president. Snoop Dogg's doing shootings of the president. You have a play of stabbing Donald Trump, the president. Time and time again, the liberals have been promoting violence as an answer to conservative Donald Trump winning the presidency and beating their queen, Hillary Clinton. Dan, you mind if I repeat that on air? And Melanie, yes, I mean, I haven't had anybody show up at my house, but I've gotten threats time and time again. I've had threats to my kid, my wife. Because to the left, it is acceptable. And Dan put in chat that he gets nasty threats all the time. Dan the Man Butcher from HP Pundit. And he actually had a guy show up at his house This is what it is being a conservative, and the left has gone totally batshit crazy because they're losing. Their message, whatever their deranged message is anymore, is not resonating with anybody. Well, it's resonating with a few, I should say. You want Russian interference? You want Russian collusion? Well, that's what I'm seeing from the liberals, their tactics. And now we have a physical attack. I hate using this. I do. I hate using this. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because it's too easy and it's a weak argument. But it does, to me, add up. I look at history. Look at the Nazis. What happened? They whipped their base up to violence against the opposing political party. To the point that people were afraid to put their views out there. That's what Russia does. That's what the Nazis did. That's what communism does. Marxism. This has gone way too far. And we all been seeing it. I've talked with Sakachon. Me and him have talked about it. And our concerns about this. That this is going to escalate to this point. And I don't think this is done. And I don't agree with a couple of the Republicans that, oh, no, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to get rhetoric going. We don't want to whip up the base. That's the problem with some of these GOP politicians. They're not willing to stand up and have a set of balls. And like I said, I don't want anybody to go out and start doing anything. That's not the answer. But sitting back and not pointing out what is going on and being silent about the subject is condoning what is going on. The VA shooting suspect ID is James Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson. Also, the president will be speaking approximately 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will be going live with that. And during the broadcast, I will be jumping into news reports here and there. It may be on the button. I just might switch over, so apologize for that. But this is ridiculous. You had senators hiding in a dugout. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm also trying to pull up information. Oh, crap. I hate this. I have no idea. Every now and then I open a web page and it's not one specific page or certain pages. All of a sudden I get, you've won. Yeah, I didn't win shit. He is 66 years old from Bellevue, Illinois. He was shot on scene. Hit a little bit on the chubby side as it's being reported. Sources told CNN it was a deliberate attack. It is also being reported, again, on This is just what's coming out right now. Things can change, so it is being reported that he is a supporter of Bernie Sanders and a Democratic socialist who wrote on his Facebook, "Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. It's time to destroy Trump and company." And this is the rhetoric that the left has been pushing. He owned a company, JTH Inspections, also called JTH Construction, and studied at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. It's... I mean, they got the screenshot. Yep, you're getting the same thing I am, Dan. It is reported that he campaigned for Sanders in Iowa while the Vermont lawmaker was running for the Democrat presidential nomination last year. Someone that knew him has said that he is a passionate progressive. The rhetoric that they have been pushing on liberal or mainstream media, the message that liberal Hollywood has been pushing is that this is the answer. This is the way to do it. And as several of us have talked about this, yeah, from what I heard a report, Roger Williams, it was originally reported he was shot. He was not shot. What happened is he dove into the dugout, which is all concrete, and injured his leg. He did get taken to the hospital for x-rays, but he was not shot. But it is a legislative correspondent, Zach Berth, was shot and taken to the hospital. And I think it's a total of 5 people were injured in this shooting, which... thank God, low numbers, because there was a good guys with the gun on scene and was able to stop this quick. There's no security, armed security there. This could have been a hell of a lot worse. A union tradesman, he is reported as being. In 2006, he was charged with battery and aiding damage to a vehicle in Illinois. According to a Washington Post report. The charges were dismissed and no other details about the incident or criminal background were immediately available. Of course, he was, it's reported he was behind third base where he started opening fire. There was a report, and I don't know if it was a congressman or one of the aides, but he is a vet from Iraq or Afghanistan, and he was talking about how he felt like he was back on the battlefield, except this time he didn't have a weapon. He wasn't able to defend himself. And you already got liberals out there. It wasn't even a half hour after the incident, already pushing the gun control talk. I mean, you had a lot of top Republicans, congressional Republicans, that were there at this field when this happened. Now, what really shocked me is on the Senate floor, Schumer spoke. He was talking about prayers for Scalise, that, and through it all, they are friends. and that this was an evil act, and he left it at that. I know in the days to come, he'll start banging his gun control gavel, but I'll give him credit that he shut his mouth and did the respectful thing at this point. We got to go to break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. I will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It's, looks like one of the congressmen is talking. They're hoping that they could still do this game. President Trump. Yeah, exactly. I like that KGB, Kathy Griffin Brigade. She's been incited to take the left's hate Trump campaign to the next level. Yeah, exactly. Democrats need to own this. They push this. This is what they created. This is what their rhetoric has caused. The divisiveness. And this goes all the way back to Obama. I'm not going to blame directly Obama, but this is where he started the divide in this country. Everything became political. I know it's always been someone, but that divide really widened underneath Obama. Everything was left to right. Everything was Republicans' fault. He demonized the Republican Party. He demonized conservatives. And I've had some people, I am not shocked by any of this. They've been pushing and they've been pushing. And now the left liberals like, oh my God, why are you blaming us? Oh, no, that's not fair to blame us. What do you expect? What do you expect us to do? And this is going out to liberals. What do you expect us to do? Give up? We're not going to. Do you expect us to sit back while you beat us? Assault us? I mean, the protests that have been happening, they're bringing weapons. And now they've stepped it up to where they're bringing a gun. Exactly, Dan. The lunatic fringe that is inspired by the left's hate are the potential murderers. The KGB crowd spews their hate and venom against the president and then tries to hide behind feigned ignorance when one of their lunatics adherents rises to the next level. Exactly. That was what Dan the Man Butcher just put in chat. Dead on. It just... And so many on Twitter, on the left, what are you oh, no, we don't want to talk. That's not right to talk about now. No, they don't want it pointed out, their rhetoric. They don't want it pointed out, this is their fault. Have you ever noticed when it's a negative towards, oh, we can't talk about it right now. It's not proper to talk about it right now. When they think they have an edge, they jump all over controversy and tragedy. Jesus Christ, here in Florida, with the Pulse shooting last year. Bodies weren't even taken out of there. And we had Democrat politicians out there, we need gun control. Oh, we need to stop the guns. As another shooting happened in a gun-free zone. Because here in Florida, it is a felony to carry a gun into a bar. It is a felony if you go into a restaurant and you are concealed carrying and you go sit at the bar. It is a felony. But yeah, oh, we need more gun control. Yeah, that's going to solve everything. The guy from Illinois drove all the way to Virginia in an area that's a gun-free zone I got in this discussion the other day with one of these lunatics. If laws worked, if laws would stop criminals and psychotics like James Hodgkinson, we just have to make murder illegal and that's it. It would stop everything. If that man knew everybody was armed around there, and Eddie had a good chance that when he pulled his gun out and fired one shot that he would be dead, do you think he would actually have done that shooting today? No, he went where he knew there was victims. There was unarmed victims. I am. This is. It's typical. Liberals. They just. They ramp up this evil and then try to claim ignorance. Well, I, for one, am not going to be silent anymore. I am not going to help perpetuate these evil acts by not speaking about them. The left seems to be a very violent group. You know, the chances of somebody else walking up and saying, "Hey, is that a Republican or Democrats on the field?" Republicans. I think gunfires ring out shortly after. You know, we've had, I think it's Maxine Waters. I'm hearing that Loretta Lynch. There's been multiple Democrats that have said we need to spill blood. In California, you hear that all the time from politicians. We need to spill blood. Well, this is exactly what your rhetoric has caused. Now, this is where we need some investigations into. The rhetoric from the politicians. Maybe we need to start investigating our news agencies for being corrupt. But the GOP doesn't have the balls to do that. I do want to put out there that I praise up and down the Capitol Police for their heroism. And I pray that all their officers are safe and recover quickly. Because what we're hearing is there was a couple, one was a female and she was shot. And even after being shot, she was treating Congressman Scalise. Wounded, and she's more worried about treating the congressman. And I have seen where Democrats are almost praising and celebrating like ISIS would of this shooting. And I gave you one tweet. Again, we're waiting for Trump to come up to speak. It's, oh my God. The left, they've been ramping up for it, and they've been ramping. Now, what more can we say? And the left is just going to be quiet there on this aspect. Yeah, Wolf Blitzer. Oh, well, just because someone asked if it was Republicans or Democrats on the field doesn't mean he was the shooter. It could have been an innocent question. Yeah. We got Representative Jeff Duncan speaking. I'm going to go over to that real quick.
Just have interactions with citizens who look in the fence and watch us practice a little. It's just for 7 years we've had that. So nothing was out of the ordinary for this gentleman coming up and asking me a question.
How much time elapsed between the time you had this
that was at 7:02. And the reason I know that is I got in the car and commented about what time it was, knowing how long it was going to take us to get back to the Capitol. 1 minute, one way or the other, makes a lot of difference in traveling back to the Hill. So I know exactly it was 7:02 when I got in the car.
How much later would the shooting have been?
You'll have to look that up. I don't know. I got back to the Hill, and it was a little while before I found out about it.
M's question from earlier, do you worry that this is going to be politicized?
I'm sorry?
Do you worry that this is going to become politicized and become a policy debate around
it really depends on how y'all report it and what he says, maybe what his Facebook
Republican
says.
Congressman Jeff Duncan, who spoke to the shooter.
Are you afraid this is going to be politicized? Yeah, we don't want the blame coming back on us for our rhetoric. You know, right there. They know it's going to be coming back on them, and they're more worried about that. It's... Like I said, at the same time, I'm going through information, going through Twitter, going through what page Trump's speaking.
Congressman Steve Scalise, a member of House leadership, was shot and badly wounded and is now in stable condition at the hospital, along with two very courageous Capitol police officers. At least two others were also wounded. Many lives would have been lost if not for the heroic actions of the two Capitol police officers who took down the gunman despite sustaining gunshot wounds during a very, very brutal assault. Melania and I are grateful for their heroism and praying for the swift recovery of all victims. Congressman Scalise is a friend, and a very good friend. He's a patriot, and he's a fighter. He will recover from this assault. And, Steve, I want you to know that you have the prayers not only of the entire city behind you, but of an entire nation and, frankly, the entire world. America is praying for you, and America is praying for all of the victims of this terrible shooting. I spoke with Steve's wife, Jennifer, and I pledged to her our full and absolute support, anything she needs. We're with her and with the entire Scalise family. I have also spoken with Chief Matthew Verderosa. He's doing a fantastic job of the Capitol Police to express our sympathies for his wounded officers and to express my admiration for their courage. Our brave Capitol Police perform a challenging job with incredible skill, and their sacrifice makes democracy possible. We also commend the brave first responders from Alexandria Police Fire and Rescue who rushed to the scene. Everyone on that field is a public servant. Our courageous police, our congressional aides who work so tirelessly behind the scenes with enormous devotion, and our dedicated members of Congress who represent our people. We may have our differences, but we do well in times like these to remember that everyone who serves in our nation's capital is here because, above all, they love our country. We can all agree that we are blessed to be Americans, that our children deserve to grow up in a nation of safety and peace, and that we are strongest when we are unified and when we work together for the common good. Please take a moment today to cherish those you love and always remember those who serve and keep us safe. God bless them all. God bless you. And God bless America. Thank you.
So the first confirmation there from the president that the shooter has died, a man who went to the Congressional Republican.
All right, you just heard it. The shooter has died. Good. Save us the trial. It's all right. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop from a stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. So, some of the reaction from the left. Let me go over this. Newsweek. Steve Scalise, shot at a congressional baseball game in Alexandria, was an early endorser of President Trump. A Malcolm Harris. If the shooter has a serious health condition, then is taking pot shots at the GOP House leadership considered self-defense? A media personality, Tariq Nasheed, implied that Scalise deserved to be shot, so Representative Steve Scalise, who once spoke at a white supremacist event sponsored by David Duke, Google it, was shot today in Alexandria. David from Virginia. No background checks, no licensing, no registration, no permit required for concealed carry of long guns, open carry long guns, and handguns. Who's this? Charles Clemmer. I swear the way we bury our heads in the sand, plus pretend like gun violence will solve itself, must look ridiculous to the world. This is absolutely the best time to talk about gun control. Right now I am sick and tired of seeing innocents hurt or killed. Shannon Watts, of course. The answer to the horrific hashtag shooting tragedy this morning in Alexandria is not more guns and fewer gun laws. Yep. Virginia Governor Terry, whatever that jackass's name, made a very interesting statement about gun violence, initially claiming that 93 million people a day lose their lives to gun violence in America. Hey, what a dumbass. Yeah, I know, it was accidental. He misspoke, but you know what? It happens way too often with those jackasses. They always are out there putting out misinformation. They don't want to talk about it. They want to talk gun control, but they don't want to talk about the real reason. The liberal hysteria that caused this. The promotion of violence promoted by the left. They don't want to talk about that. We need more gun laws, and less guns is going to stop the problem. Do you honestly think that man was going to get stopped by a gun law? I want to know, since this guy was in Illinois, did he have a gun permit? Was he legally owner of all those guns? Member of Congress say charity congressional game will go on tomorrow night as planned. It's I'm absolutely appalled by this. And I've been saying, I mean, you had Tim Kaine, vice president candidate in 2016 election. After he lost, he said, we must fight Trump's administration in the street. Antifa, or whatever the frig these jackasses are called, have been pushing it for this. They've been raising the level of violence slowly and slowly. It's how much more are we supposed to take? And this is what scares me. It scares me. I've been saying there's just a spark that is needed to set this country off. And I don't want it because ooh. See something. Trying to pull up as much information as I can. The shooter belonged to anti-GOP groups. He belonged to a group called Terminate the Republican Party. Let's see, other groups that he's a part of. The road to hell is paved with Republicans. Donald Trump is not my president. President Bernie Sanders. Illinois Burners united to resist Trump. Boycott the Republican Party. Expose Republican fraud. Terminate the Republican Party. He has been pretty much. Oh, what's this sign? He was protesting outside the United States Post Office in downtown Bellevue. I think it was in 2012. Tax the rich like Congress did for 70 years. Told Reagan's trickle down. We need 20 brackets, $20 million. the left will ignore it. The right will cave. And nothing will be done. And the left will continue to ramp up. The violence. How much more? How much more? Before we say enough and this divisiveness ends. It's ridiculous. And you know, you look to this Russian investigation and how the Democrats used that to whip their base into a frenzy. Yeah, the Maxine Waters out there pounding the pavement, screaming about Trump, screaming for impeachment, whipping him up. They didn't think this violence was going to spill over. Wait a minute, something just popped up. I got to pull up on the other computer. Sorry about this. But CBS News. CBS Evening News. All right, let me play this.
They're doing and leave a little early. As Jeff was walking out, he actually saw the shooter who spoke to him and said, who are those guys? He said, that's the congressional baseball team. He said, what are they, Republicans or Democrats? And he said, they're the Republicans. And that was the conversation he had, and it was only as they were driving
and they said
back.
He acted a little weird.
Yeah.
When he did. We need to go inside. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
How long did the firefight go on for?
That was from CBS News and their tweet. Breaking, Representative Meehan confirms shooter approached Representative Ron DeSantis and asked if players were Republican or Democrat before shooting. That's CBS Evening News. Now you got CNN, MSNBC. They know this is bad for them, so they're running around trying to do damage control, trying to spin this to a gun issue. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and HP Pundit, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cat from the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm still... This was a political hit. This was the left whipping up their base. And I don't love, but I didn't expect anything more. But watching them in full damage control, everybody, we need to talk. Yeah, us conservatives have been talking and trying to discuss why liberals, all they do is attack verbally, and now physically they have been of late. They attack any viewpoints. The biggest goddamn bigots I've fucking seen are the Democrats. This liberal infestation of the country. I've never had a problem with Democrats in my life until, I don't want to say at the beginning of Obama's, but a year or two into it. That man divided this country so bad it's not even funny. And no one in the Democrat Party thought to step up and say, whoa, wait a minute, let's stop this. It's going too far. No, they thought it was funny and thought it would be great to even push it even further. And what do we have? Well, we saw that this morning. You know, I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on right now. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. And the timing, I find it ironical. The irony. The irony. Yesterday's we have Sessions giving testimony that really smacked the Democrats all over the place. And if you notice, we're not talking about that conference. We're talking about a liberal shooter. Seems every time there's bad news for the Democrats, something big pops up, a shooting. And it really happened underneath Obama a lot, too. Maybe it's all irony and just coincidence. I don't know. It just... things that make you go... There's still, I don't, not love, but Dan, the KGB, Kathy Griffin Brigade. That fits perfect. Are some of the Republicans correct in that we need to really tamp this down? And yeah, you know what? The left does. The Democrat Party needs to come out. DNC leadership, Pelosi, Schumer, need to come out and start condemning all these actions. The call for violence, fighting in the street. They need to come out and end this. They won't. Bernie Sanders has released a statement. He released this. Hold on. All right. The statement after Bernie Sanders found out that it was one of his, not just supporters, that he volunteered on his presidential campaign, he put out the following statement. I have just been informed that the alleged shooter at the Republican basketball practice is someone who apparently volunteered on my presidential campaign. I am sickened by this despicable act. Let me be clear as I can be. Violence of any kind is unacceptable in our society, and I condemn this action in the strongest possible terms. Real change can only come about through non-violent actions, and anything else runs against our most deeply held American values. My hopes and prayers are that Representative Scalise, congressional staff, and the Capitol police officers who were wounded make a quick and full recovery. I also want to thank the Capitol Police for their heroic actions to prevent further harm. I appreciate the statement. I'm glad to see. But he also has to talk about the rest of the rhetoric that has been going on. It's too many times we have turned the other cheek. It's you have a person like David Leavitt. You know, granted he's doing this in Far Cry, a video game, but he posts kill redneck Trump supporters in Far Cry 5. He posted that on June 12th. Whether you're talking about a game or not, that is absolutely vile and sick. I play video games all the time, and I'm not going to sit, well, I'm having fun. I'm going out and specifically only killing Hillary supporters, or I'm only going out and kill. No, I would never do that. Whether game or not. And putting that tweet out is just asinine. That's asking for trouble. Dumbass. And this is an asshole that is a freelance for CBS, AXS, Yahoo, Examiner, and more. And he's going to be dumb enough to go out and make a statement like that. Posted 5 minutes ago. He just posted, not my president. What a sick bastard. He's sitting there posting, not my president, as, oh my God, how dumb can you be? That's just asking for issues. They have to do more than just, oh, you're shooting when you don't support. No, you need liberals, DNC. Because let me tell you, I hate 100% certain. A lot of this is going to come back in 2018, and it's going to hurt the Democrat Party even worse. They are on a downward spiral. It's The anti-Trump rhetoric from the mainstream media has got to end. And Newt Gingrich just said it. He's on, what is it? Outnumbered show. You had a series of things which send signals that tell people that it's okay to hate. Liberals, DNC, progressive, they all preach about this love and to do away with hate. But yet that's all they practice is hate. And that's what evil does. Puts up this fake facade. Has you looking everywhere else. Well, picture pockets clean. We have to watch ourselves. We have to band together. It's just funny. Someone just posted also that just yesterday, Rush Limbaugh was saying that all this hate and promises of impeachment by these militant Democrats could force people to snap. That. You know, Bernie Sanders sitting there going, oh, shit, this asshole. The House is convened after the shooting. Let's take a peek in.
That carries so many burdens. And today, the reminder, shared danger. May this day be characterized by kindness, goodwill, and compassion one to another. God bless America, and may all that is done this day be for your greater honor and glory. Amen.
Amen. The chair has examined the journal of the last day's proceedings and announces to the House his approval thereof. Pursuant to Clause 1 of Rule 1, the journal stands approved.
I'm surprised they're actually in session. There was talks they were going to cancel everything.
And invites the members of the gallery to join. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a person made a great, I agree, a great tweet. Democrats have made being conservatives an offense punishable by death or grave injury. That is the rhetoric from the left.
Does the gentleman from Wisconsin seek recognition?
I ask to revise and accept my remarks and address the House for 1 minute.
Gentleman is recognized.
My colleagues, there are very strong emotions throughout this House today. We are all horrified by this dreadful attack on our friends and on our colleagues and those who serve and protect this Capitol. We are all praying for those who are attacked and for their families. Steve Scalise, Zachary Barth, Matt Micah, Special Agent David Bailey, Special Agent Crystal Griner. We are all giving our thoughts to those currently being treated for their injuries at this moment. And we are united. We are united in our shock. We are united in our anguish. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us.
While they're sitting there clapping about that, John Griffin shared a little thing. They should be lined up and shot. That's not hyperbole. Blood is on their hands. Talking about a Washington Post article, the Republican health care bill.
Responders and to the Alexandria Police Department who are on the scene in minutes. And I know this House wants to state unequivocally that we are, as ever, awed by the tremendous bravery of the Capitol Police.
While they're clapping again, there's another one on there from Charlie Kirk. Professor says House Republicans should be lined up and shot. And the response someone put, this is absolutely outrageous. House Republicans should not be shot. They should be guillotined. This is the rhetoric we put up with.
I spoke with Special Agent Bailey and Special Agent Griner this morning. One was being treated and one was about to go into surgery. I expressed our profound gratitude to them. It is clear to me, based on various eyewitness accounts, that without these two heroes, Agent Bailey and Agent Griner, many lives would have been lost. I know that we all want to learn as much as we can about what happened. We just all received a briefing from the Sergeant of Arms. I have complete confidence in the investigation that's being conducted by the Capitol Police, the FBI, who are also working with local law enforcement. I know we want to extend our gratitude for the outpouring of support that we've received from throughout the Capitol and from throughout the country. And now, knowing Steve Scalise, as we all do, he is likely really frustrated that he's not going to be able to play in the baseball game. I also know that Steve wants all of us to commend the bravery of those who came to the aid of the wounded. In the coming days, we will hear their stories, and we will have the chance to hold up their heroism. My colleagues, there are so many memories from this day that we will want to forget, and there are so many images that we will not want to see again. But there is one image in particular that this House should keep, and that is a photo I saw this morning of our Democratic colleagues gathered in prayer this morning after hearing the news. You know, every day we come here to test and to challenge each other. We feel so deeply about the things that we fight for and the things that we believe in. At times, our emotions can clearly get the best of us. We're all imperfect. But we do not shed our humanity when we enter this chamber. For all the noise and all the fury, we are one family. These were our brothers and sisters in the line of fire. These were our brothers and sisters who ran into danger and saved countless lives. So before this House returns to its business, let's just slow down and reflect, to think about how we're all being tested right now, because we are being tested right now. I ask each of you to join me, to resolve, to come together, to lift each other up, and to show the country, to show the world that we are one house, the people's house, united in our humanity. It is that humanity which will win the day, and it always will. God bless. I yield.
Oh, here comes batshit Pelosi. Well, batshit crazy, I should say.
Purposes, gentlelady from California seek recognition.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to join the distinguished speaker in paying tribute to the brave men and women of the Capitol Police Force, and also in sadness for the assault that was made on our colleagues and members of the staff. To my colleagues, you're going to hear me say something you've never heard me say before. I identify myself with the remarks of the speaker. They're beautiful remarks, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much. For the sentiments that they represent, thank you so much.
I wonder who the hell's laughing there.
Again, we are not one caucus or the other in this House today, but we speak for each other in saying that we send our thoughts and prayers to our colleague, Steve Scalise. Personally, we have our Italian-American connection, so as soon as I heard his name, I was filled with concern, as I would be for anyone here, but we have that special connection, so our hopes and prayers. And I said to the Speaker, I'll be asking you every 5 minutes, how is Steve coming along? And also for Zach Barth in Congressman Roger Williams' office, Matt Micah, who was a former staffer, and of course, as the Speaker acknowledged, Crystal Griner and David Bailey. And acknowledging their sacrifice and how fortunate we all were that they were on the scene, because other lives would have probably been lost, I want us to remember that every single day, the Capitol Police protects all of us, takes risk for us. And while a day like this is a time when we can focus on it, so sadly, it doesn't mean that other days aren't as challenging. And I especially want to call attention to Detective John Gibson and Officer Jacob Chestnut, who almost 19 years ago, 1988 it was, in July, lost their lives protecting the Congress, the Capitol. And not just the members of Congress, the staff, the press, and our visitors, people who come to see this Capitol, this great edifice to democracy known throughout the world. So they are protecting a great deal. And it is an attraction. And that makes it all the more risky. You may not know this, my colleagues, but every time I pray, which is very frequently, and certainly every Sunday, I pray for all of you together. In the earlier years, I used to pray for your happiness, for the fact that we would, working together, heed the words of President Kennedy in the closing of his inaugural address when he said, "May God's work must truly be our own." How do we view what God's will is for us? How do we come together to give confidence to the American people that, as our founders intended, we would have our disagreements and we would debate them and we would have confidence in our beliefs and humility to listen to others? But in more recent years, I have been praying not only for that, but for our safety. As I, above anyone in here, and I can say that quite clearly, have been probably the target of more, I'm the political target and therefore the target of more threats than anyone, perhaps other than the President of the United States, Barack Obama. And so I prayed for Barack Obama. And now I continue to pray for him. And I pray for Donald Trump, that his presidency will be successful and that his family will be safe. Because it is about family. We are called for a purpose to this body. It's a great thing.
Wait, did she just say she prays that his
what it means to each
presidency
of
is
us to serve,
successful?
and we recognize that in others. And we also recognize that you have your constituents, we have ours, and we respect you and your constituents who sent you here.
Yeah, they respect it. Yeah, they just shot us.
But we do have our differences. And so I pray, my prayer is that we can resolve our differences in a way that furthers the preamble to the Constitution, takes us closer to e pluribus unum. And today, again, it's in the family. It's an injury in the family for the staff and for our colleague and for his leadership. As I mentioned just a minute ago in the Fuller thing, sports are a wonderful thing in our country. Probably one of the most unified. I think the arts, we like to say music or plays or whatever, but sports really bring us together in our cities. You see people who have the biggest differences of opinion on politics, and yet when their team is on the field, people come together. People come together. So when this team was on the field practicing with such camaraderie and such brotherhood, I don't know if you have any sisters on your team. We have 2 on our team. For this person to take this action was so cowardly. So cowardly. We'll learn more about motivation and the rest of that. But it seems particularly sad, although any violent death, of course, is sad, but particularly sad that at a time when people want us to come together, and we're prepared to come together tomorrow night, that this assault would be made. But we cannot let that be a victory for the assailant or anyone who would think that way. So tomorrow we'll go out on the field, we'll root for our team, we want everyone to do his or her very best, and we will use this occasion as one that brings us together and not separates us further. And with that, again, I want to thank the Speaker for bringing us together, and again, with endless gratitude to our Capitol Police, in particular today, of course, Crystal Griner, David Bailey, but never out of our prayers, Detective John Gibson and Officer Jacob Chestnut. Thank you, my colleagues, for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you on this sad day. Steve and others, you are deeply in our prayers. We count the minutes until you return. Please convey that to him, Mr. Speaker. Thank you all.
I'm going to turn it down a little to see if there's any other bullshit we can hear.
Chair lays before the House.
All right, that was House leadership addressing the...
It's ridiculous. We got a DP Consulting. That's Twitter, DP Consulting. And where is it? Put a comment. Too bad he's not hurt worse. He and GOP trying to hurt, kill, strip healthcare from millions of us presently. It's unfortunately deserved. But yes, I can see where there's no rhetoric. Yeah. Now she's crying. After making that comment. She has deleted it. And now she's trying to play the victim. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, no, it's believable. I find it believable that she would do this. And then now she's crying, oh, Trump people are trying to silence me. I didn't say anything bad. They can say what they want. They're attacking a woman. I just... I'm amazed. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Planet Radio, and we'll be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cat from a stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Much Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. There's an update coming from the hospital on Scalise. And I don't know where it is, so popping in.
He had gone in Sable. So both Agent Crystal Griner, one of those two agents, David Bailey, was not shot. So Crystal Griner One was shot. David Bailey hurt his ankle or somehow was injured in the melee. And, of course, we have heard everyone from the president to Speaker Ryan and Minority Leader Pelosi praising the heroic actions of the U.S. Capitol Police and of these agents, Bailey and Griner. What I've seen since I've been here, Sandra, aside from the D.C. Police keeping security on the hospital, I've seen a number of U.S. Capitol Police vehicles arriving and folks going in, presumably for security or even to support their colleague. This, of course, Agent Crystal Griner and Agent David Bailey were part of Scalise's detail. That detail, since he is a majority whip and not the Speaker of the House or the President of the United States, is a smaller one and presumably would be a tighter-knit group of folks. I also know that Congressman Scalise's chief of staff, as well as other members of his staff, are inside the hospital, have been here shortly after the congressman arrived to support him. Of course, Congressman Scalise releasing a statement from his office earlier that he was able to speak to his wife, Jennifer, before he went into surgery. But just to recap, we know for sure here at MedStar Washington Hospital, we have Congressman Steve Scalise still in surgery, but hopefully stable and expected to come out of that. Originally, we were told and still believe he was shot in the hip. And we know the U.S. Capitol Police agent, Crystal Griner, was shot somewhere in the lower extremities. The foot or leg had gone in stable condition. We would presume she is in surgery as well because she's been shot with a high-caliber rifle. And we hope to hear some news about that later. There is a press briefing microphone stakeout set up for the hospital or any of the doctors to come out. We will update you the second that happens. Sandra?
All right, Griff Jenkins, thank you. So the update there.
So there's the update. Sounds like he was a little bit more, his injuries are a little bit more substantial than originally reported. It's and this DP Consulting, I can't believe she's trying to play the victim now after, she's saying too bad about the GOP Scalise not being hurt worse, and then she's playing the victim. That is exactly the rhetoric that we've been talking about. And it continues. You would think they would shut their mouths today and back off. And be smart and just take a couple steps back. No, these lunatics go further. I want to hear Chuck Schumer, since he is the head in the Senate, condemn the resistance and the rhetoric. He is the head of it. He needs to speak out and say this is not acceptable to do. They need to take responsibility for their rhetoric. It just blows my mind. And it's funny now, Democrats are screaming, they're talking about how great cops are. Any other time they're bashing cops, but now, it's just... Get a professor called for a public assassination of the GOP House. Now, let me repeat that. John Griffin, I didn't know was a professor, came out and said they should be lined up and shot. That's not hyperbole. Blood is on their hands. And then they don't want us talking about this when we have them out there calling for the murder of conservatives? He is a professor. Professor of Media Arts and Animation at the Art Institute of Washington. Republicans are a fucking joke, and their voting bloc runs the gamut from monstrous to ignorant. That is another quote that he posted. You know, you got Elizabeth Warren. Oh, people are going to die over the health care plan. What do you think is going to happen when you push that rhetoric? When you have that fringe element in the Democrat Party? It's and they're out there trying to degrade and besmirch Steve Scalise' reputation to try to justify the shooting. We've seen it. I've talked about it. Trying to accuse him that he's a KKK supporter. Time and time again, Republicans open their mouth, call for violence, and then step back. Oh, my God, violence actually happened. Don't talk about it. That'll just cause problems if we talk about it. I ain't putting my head in the sand anymore. I haven't had my chat up in a while. All right. It's disgusting. I got to throw this article. I had it set up for the first article to deal with, but we had breaking news today. And this is one of those that they're so passionate about they get violent over, is the global warming. Well, a third global warming scientific mission had to be canceled. They're going to go and study the receding ice caused by global warming. They had to cancel a third trip again. A third. And I'm pretty sure everybody's laughing and already knows. They had to cancel it because the ice, the summertime ice, is too thick for them to get there. But now they go and blame global warming is why we have more ice. I'm just letting that sink in for a second. Global warming is causing the record ice flow. Or I shouldn't say flow. Record amount of ice. This is the third one. Third time. And I think the third year in a row they've had to cancel one of these global warming fact-finding mission to prove that the ice is receding. We're losing the ice. The temperatures are going up, and we can't go because there's a record amount of ice. Yeah, they ignore things like that, don't they? The news today is going to be nothing but talking about. I also find Rex Tillerson. It has some kind of he's talking to one of the committees. All right, we got Representative Rodney Davis, a Republican from Illinois.
Run, he's got a gun, and I did that. I other than that, and it was you just don't expect to hear that when you go out to practice for a baseball game that talks about bipartisanship and shows bipartisanship and raises hundreds of thousands of dollars for those who need it the most in the D.C. area for their local charities.
And Congressman, obviously we're still waiting on an update on Steve Scalise, your colleague, the House Majority Whip. He was shot. He was carried off that field bleeding but still talking. The president has said that they do expect, he spoke to his wife, for him to make a full recovery. I mean, what was that like?
Well, let me tell you, it's a horrifying scene that I never will get out of my mind, and I hope to never experience again. As I was running for cover, and you look out on the baseball field and you see your friend. This isn't just a Republican leader or a whip or a congressman. This is my friend laying motionless in the outfield. And, of course, I thought the worst. These are the things that we have to think about when we hear the political, rhetorical hate that we see in today's society. And we have to take a step back as Republicans like me and as Democrats and those in the media, those on social media, and make today the day that we stand up against those who turn hate into violence like I witnessed.
Exactly.
And Congressman, Capitol Police were on the
you got, it's a Joseph Roger at VFL Joe. Rarely do I get to feel proud to be an American. This was almost one of those rare days, talking about the shooting today.
Actions of the two Capitol Hill police officers that acted so quickly there today. What did you see as far as the emergency response on that field?
I'm dumbfounded at some of these responses.
100% correct. Without the two brave Capitol Police officers who were there as part of Steve Scalise's detail, many of us might not be alive today. They were aggressive in charging the suspect. They engaged, and that allowed many of us to be able to take better cover away from the shooting. They're the true heroes of today. We're going to come together as Republicans and Democrats, and we're going to play this baseball game, and I hope to use your show to tell everyone who cares about bipartisanship to donate to this game and raise the most we can to send a message to people like this shooter today that this isn't going to happen in the United States of America.
Congressman, I'm sorry, we're just taking in. There's so much news happening. And as we're speaking to you on the phone, we have a live picture up in Alexandria, Virginia. So much going on as far as emergency response and investigation being led by FBI right now. We're waiting on updates there as well. Congressman, we're so thankful that you could jump on and share what you saw and share your story with us. Our thoughts and prayers continue to be with Congressman Scalise as he undergoes surgery in the hospital right now, as well as the aide and the other Capitol Hill officer that was shot. Thank you, sir.
It is. It's scary. It really is scary. I don't think I could come up with any other words. I mean, it is scary anymore. It's what more can we say about it? Just watch yourself, watch your surroundings. They are unhinged. Right, the only thing we got on our side is, well, they don't exactly know firearms, so they're not that proficient with them. Thank God. It's... So, New York Times article back in April. And it talks about when billionaire Wilbur L. Ross Jr., the Commerce Secretary, goes to dinner at a fancy Georgetown restaurant. Bodyguards sit nearby. Okay. Now, this next part. When members of Congress practice in the early mornings in Alexandria, Virginia, public park for their congressional baseball game, plainclothes United States Capitol Police are sitting there in a black SUV. Oh. I mean, just tweet after tweet after tweet. Just shows how the left hatred is morphing into physical and real violence. This is not rhetoric. This is not make-believe. They're actually doing it, and they have been, and they're ramping it up, it seems, more and more. And being silent is being a part of it. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on SHR Media and HP Pundit. Don't forget, starting July 3rd, the show will be moving, along with myself, to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and only right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. Everybody, be safe and have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.